So welcome everyone. My name is Lara Waldman. I'm also known as the Abundance Activator, and it is my very great pleasure to welcome you to my wonderful friend, an amazing healer and business mentor, Lysa Black. And today we're speaking about unveiling. Yes. And we're speaking about why we tend to have a lot of secrecy and ambiguity around our business and our offers. Lysa, welcome.
Thank you for allowing me to indulge in a sacred reveal. It's so beautiful to talk about this with you because our friendship has been rich and deep. Our professional relationship has been profound. And I've witnessed you in a sacred unveiling this year. And that's one of the biggest messages that I want to share. So thank you so much, Lara, for having this conversation, for unveiling yourself, your truth, your purpose, your vulnerability and embodiment, because this actually allows our medicine to be disseminated in the world.
Beautiful. So my darling Lysa, will you tell us a little bit about why this is happening in your business now, why this is so important? If you could tell us a little bit more about this unveiling and what you're supporting people to do at this time.
You know, I went into business like many of us do with grand expectations, and I actually began before Facebook was even happening in New Zealand. So I started by doing seminars and presentations and putting ads in the paper. And what's so interesting about back then is that I didn't see anyone reflecting a feminine energy-based model in business. It was all about marketing, sales. It was about pushing perspectives that has that innately masculine energy. And what happens for us who are highly sensitive, who are really feeling called to be on purpose in our business, is we don't feel like there is a structure that can house the truth of what we're truly wanting to offer.
That is most definitely true. I definitely experienced that as well. And I found that some of those, let's just call them the masculine business models of marketing, left me feeling really stressed and really frazzled and really burnt out. And I felt like I had to kind of squeeze myself into something that wasn't really me. So everything that you've just said, I experienced as well.
And it's so prevalent, and what can happen is, as you said, we feel squeezed, our channel literally becomes closed, we feel like we lose connection with ourselves and the heavens, and what happens when that happens is that we can't actually be of service in the world. So I'm a bit of an intuitive trailblazer, and if I sense something isn't working for me, I just won't do it. So I never picked up those masculine models. I just played with something, and what I found was that unveiling the truth of who I was, what I believe in, the powerful shifts that I've made in my own life, is that my clients would replicate the results that they heard me vulnerably share. And self-healing, my own anxiety, my own eating disorders, my own pattern of breakups, that was actually when my career took off, because people had some sort of a reflection of who I really was, so that it could back up the essence they could sense. We all know that our presence is what attracts our tribe, but if your words, graphics, copy are not lining up to match that, it can slightly confuse our tribe and have them feel more cautious than they need to.
That's really interesting. So, like, do you have any kind of tips of how to get fully aligned in every area of your business then, so that your tribe can find you or will gravitate towards you?
Yes, I would love to introduce a concept that I call mirror marketing. And if you take your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the clients, your relationship with your purpose, and you imagine that there was like a mirror-like bubble that encased those sacred aspects, what we want to do is we want to directly showcase the real conversations we're having with our clients. I always say relay the exact same content that you're sharing with your clients, with your tribe. Everything that you're showcasing on social media and on your website should be a direct correlation with who you really are. And that creates this incredible match that when there is no discrepancy, you know, I see people trying to come up with an avatar, trying to conjure up 6 months of content ahead of time. I go, share what happened in your client appointment today and put that straight out into Instagram. So all of my content creation comes from palpable, authentic moments. And for me, it imbues it with an essence and a physical, you know, imprint that then can carry it to the hearts of my tribe.
That's brilliant. That is such a great idea. And isn't it interesting? Because I really can see where I've struggled with this. Like there was almost like the inner secret world of my one-to-one work and what I was doing with my clients. And then somehow that I was supposed to present something different because you had to have some kind of slick marketing or I don't know. I used to get into a real muddle and jumble that somehow what I do and who I was too much or too something, and that I had to kind of dumb it down for you know, the masses, let's say. So what do you think stops us from being able to do what you've just described, like really share alignment in every area?
Yes, our shame and our wounding. We have all been shamed for the truth of who we are. For me, that was key core family members in my birth family, not only friends, family, and those in society who would outrightly shame me for being deeply feeling, opinionated, and forthright. My form of expression and the way that I express myself. What's interesting is that all of us have been wounded in a very, very specific way, and all of us are very acquainted with that. My tribe, we're all healers, coaches, natural change agents that want to make a difference through their sacred expertise. And what we need to understand is that that wounding is such a privilege to showcase. That for me, feeling deeply unloved as a child, feeling like I was completely unlovable, actually birthed my greatest asset in business, which is my capacity to love and receive anybody. We are not milking our wounding, and we are not gaining the triumph from our tragedy. And that is what it was intended for, to break us down. We have received light, information, transformational results, and then we're trying to keep it a secret. It's really important to understand that your own sacred healing is pivotal to your growth in your business, to help you to feel safe to share the power and truth of who you are, use your marketing as medicine, transform your own life, and allow that to be a vehicle for your tribe to mimic and match your transformation.
Wow.
Gosh, I love talking about this with you, Lara.
You're good at talking about this. So do you ever feel like, is there oversharing? Can you be share too much or too vulnerably? Like, where's that line, would you say?
The line comes from a personal discernment of your own boundaries of comfort. What I love to do is I love to prepare myself for the message and put it in my heart and speak it in my mind or out loud. And I like to imagine that the whole world is witnessing me. Now, if my heart reels back and I feel myself minimizing, I know that it's not appropriate or suitable to share at this time. And that is different for every one of us. So the calibration on that line is actually a unique case-by-case scenario. What you share, Lara, may not be comfortable for me and vice versa. So it's not something we can compare or see an external representation. But our internal awareness of our own energy calibration is how we discern. And as we allow ourselves to be authentic and vulnerable and share that thing that feels like it's sacred, that's the kind of energy that we want. If I feel raw or I feel myself coming back in, then I know that I need to hold back for a little bit longer. And that might be a week or a month or a year. And it doesn't matter, because there's always a pool of information that's too sacred, always a pool of information that is ready and just waiting to be released to the world.
That's beautifully said. And it's really important, I guess, that we all really listen to ourselves, is what I'm hearing you say, and not copy someone else or mimic someone else just because it's working for someone else. Really listen to your truth. So it's funny, isn't it? Because it can feel very vulnerable to share. So I guess it's that fine line, and it's important to tune in with moment to moment, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's great, though, is that our own personal journey is always a mirror reflection of the journey of our tribe. So if we're not engaged and actually, unveiling the truth of who we are, we're not actually supporting our tribe to do the same. And there's a big concern that we need to be really visible. And for highly sensitives, intuitives, empaths, it's a really difficult, I would even say impossible mission. What I like to think of is revealing and concealing. Revealing, concealing. We go from dark moon to full moon, dark moon to full moon. It's fine to have periods of total revelation and exposure where you're illuminating your purpose, your truth, and your offers, and then to go, and I'm leaving now. Actually disappear behind a veil. It's absolutely fine to allow yourself to reveal and conceal at will, because we can't stay in the light of exposure for too long. Trust that natural rhythm for yourself, just like the moon does.
Beautiful. Absolutely. And I support that 100%, because we have these cycles, don't we? It's like we go through all the seasons, maybe even every month as women especially, and to honor that. Otherwise, I think we burn out if we try and just soldier on, like push, create constantly. I don't think it works. So I love what you've just said, and I know you really do that. You've gone online, don't you, for a week at a time at times, and I've done that as well, where I take big breaks just to realign, to do some deep healing, resting, reconnecting. Where those are the moments where actually really powerful birthing's happening, I find, or really powerful growth is happening. So I'm really glad you've just said that, because I think there can be this feeling or this pressure that you need to be constantly generating and creating all the time, putting yourself out there. And for me personally, that's not sustainable. So I'm really glad you've shared that as well.
I think that the biggest challenge is that because we have been rejected, abandoned, criticized for the truth of who we are, it's such a vulnerable surrender to unveil. And, the biggest invitation I can make to everyone is that you will never know how loved, appreciated, and celebrated you are until you really risk being fully seen. And for the first 6 years of my business, I was very much into veiling, so much so that I made it about my service and never about me. And there was really this crux where I realized that anytime I shared something, it really allowed my clients to open up. So my marketing, by unveiling my truth and my purpose, prepared my clients for transformation. And then what that actually allowed me to do was to become sought after, fully booked, and then capable of actually doing my thing in the world. So once I get over the idea that my job is to serve my clients, as business owners, that's not our job. Our job is to actually articulate the value of when, why, and how we serve our sacred clients. That's actually the skill set we get paid for. And when I took responsibility for that real job in my business, that was when I was constantly booked out. And last 4 years I've been providing for my family. And I wish that someone had told me to unveil sooner. Because when I am appreciated and loved and celebrated, that is what has transformed my perception of myself. The shame that I felt around the truth of who I am. Now my clients and I literally will close an appointment by saying I love you to each other. And that for me is heaven on earth. And I want that for more of our community, are highly sensitive, gifted intuitives that are doing sacred and powerful work. It's time for us to be loved and celebrated.
Oh, babe, and you do that so well. And I've witnessed you kind of just go from success to excess and really create abundance in your life in a really holistic, nurturing, juicy, amazing way. It's amazing. So definitely what you do works in a really powerful and sustainable, nourishing way. It's beautiful to watch you. It's very inspiring. So I'm so glad that you're sharing all this. I have one question around unveiling. So we've talked about unveiling our vulnerabilities, our personal vulnerabilities, but what about unveiling our gifts, unveiling what we do in our business? Could you talk a little bit about that, like why we hide that part of ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, who's going to authorize and legitimize our spiritual gifts? We're the only ones that can do that. And my journey doing that actually was to realize that my eating disorders was the shadow reflection of my inability to own my psychic empath nature. Anytime that I knew something that I logically was told I couldn't know, I would actually consume food in order to numb my awareness of that information. And I really got to a point where I wanted to heal battle my eating disorder, and the price I had to pay was to actually own and accept my gifts. And we're the only ones that can do that for ourselves. It's so important to understand that you cannot show up in business if you don't show up in your wholeness, and your gifts are a sacred aspect of who you are. It's not something we can do, it's a part of who we are. And last year, I really took a massive risk, and I actually did a tour here in New Zealand, and I said, come one, come all, we're going to do an extravaganza of heart readings. And I had, beautiful full rooms of my kindred hearts who came along to have their spiritual gifts confirmed, because this is a core need in our tribe. And what I saw was that the whole audience was touched as I was able to relay and confirm these sacred aspects. It created this incredible atmosphere of everyone feeling safe to be who they were. This is what the world needs, it's what we need, and it's what our businesses are actually the vehicle to transmit and carry to the whole world. So I love how much you own and embody your gifts, Lara, and I feel like that has been such a gift from the beginning. And everyone that's even near you feels more connected to themselves and their gifts because of your embodiment in this area, darling.
Thank you. That's so nice. I would also say that I think there were some ways that I didn't fully own my gifts for a long time. Almost that because sometimes our gifts are so easy for us, it's just like what we do. I think part of my journey has also been to acknowledge that it has value, part of my journey. So, oh yeah, I do that. And oh yeah, maybe that is a great thing. Because it just kind of comes naturally to me. So that's been part of my journey, is to see and know myself. And, my friendship with you has really helped me with that. So that's been a really interesting part of my journey, to really own and acknowledge our gifts. And I think that's sometimes our soul tribe can help us with as well, right? That they, by their feedback and testimonials and experience, you're like, oh, cool. And watching their transformations and breakthroughs, you realize you can also understand your gifts more. Well, that's been the case for me anyways.
For sure, and that's why it's win-win-win, that we just do our best to unveil what we can, but every time that you release something and allow it to be seen, you will see a clearer reflection of yourself that will allow you to unveil the next sacred portion. So this is just like that 1,000-petaled flower unfolding. We never reach completion in this life, I don't believe, but it's such a beautiful journey to stretch into opening as much as we can, because for me, the bonus and the benefit is that everyone around me does the same. And all empaths want to make a difference. We want to help other people. The best way to do that is to help our damn selves. And so I'm like, Lysa Black, I love you, open and reveal. And then I look and everyone's opening and revealing again, keep opening. Don't get attached to the way that the external reflect and manifest around you. Stay focused on your center of power, which is your own sacred evolution and unfolding process.
It's so beautiful, and it's so true how there is that constant reflection. Like every time you up level or expand more or share more, it just gets mirrored in your soul tribe and life around you. But it's so cool how that works. I find it so cool and interesting. Lysa, this information has been so awesome, and I know it's so important. I see a lot of sensitive people, leaders, visionaries, empaths, healers, coaches, all these people really needing this information. And it's time, I think we're really ready for a new wave of authenticity and showing up in our truth. I feel that really deeply, that it's time. And I'm so delighted that you've created a really special free giveaway experience for all of us. I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I love questing, and I love questing in a community. When we have a leader who is embodying it and willing to do that, and we can gather around them, it makes it easier and more supported for us to do the same. So I'm releasing Chariots for Change. I really want to invite everybody to harness business to fulfill their purpose. We've stuffed ourselves into the model of business and contorted and twisted ourselves to meet the parameters of what we thought we had to be. It's time to release any residue of that energy and really allow our business structure to perfectly support ourselves. And you know, this is really the most beautiful reflection, that this is the truth of who we are, you and your sublime glory, and this vessel is your business, and it needs to perfectly hold you so that you can be a powerful force for good as well as prospering on purpose. So Chariots for Change is 8 quest prompts. We are going to be journeying into your heart to reveal and unveil the true purpose of your business. That is client attractive. That is powerful and transformational. That will totally unveil your soul and allow you to be celebrated and loved, which is what we're all yearning for.
Awesome. So there'll be a link below this video to sign up for this. It's a 2-week challenge, is that right?
The 2-week challenge, and those who want to join my Chariots for Change community can come. There'll be a guide that will give you the prompts. So these are social media prompts, questions I'm going to ask you, and you reply on social media and just witness what happens when your tribe hears your truth. I will be witnessing and observing. I'm giving away a full VIP day worth $888 with me to help someone craft their book or conceptualize their soul work or do a business showcase marketing plan like I'm doing. And I think it's so fun to be running the competition, to be able to be witnessing my tribe unveil their purpose. Let's see what magic unfolds through this.
So awesome. And I just want to say I'm in your group, and you are an incredibly generous, giving person. And if you want to feel loved and seen and received, join Lysa and her beautiful tribe of amazing beings.
Thank you, darling.
Oh, Lysa, thank you so much for sharing your amazing work with us. And it's so important. I'm really grateful to you for sharing all of this with us today and for sharing yourself. And please do sign up for Lysa's challenge. It's going to be awesome. I'll be in there as well. And thanks for joining us. Sending you lots of love. If you've got any questions, please comment below, Lysa, and I'll be happy to answer.